All right, everyone is talking about AI. It's everywhere. But here's the big question. Is this the real deal, a true revolution? Or are we all just living inside a giant financial bubble that's about to burst? Let's get into it.
And listen to this. That warning isn't coming from some random critic. Nope, that's from Sam Altman himself. The founder of OpenAI. He's pretty much the guy steering this whole ship. So when the captain starts talking about hitting an iceberg, you gotta listen up.
And it's not just Altman either. We're talking about the heavy hitters here. The IMF, the Bank of England, they're all raising red flags. They're looking at what's happening and getting some serious déjà vu from the dot-com crash. They're actually warning about a sudden and sharp drop. Yikes.
Okay, so let's dig into the case for a bubble. What exactly are people seeing that has them so spooked? Let's look at the evidence that suggests we might be in some very familiar and very dangerous territory.
It really does feel like we've seen this movie before, just with a different cast. Back in the dot-com days, you had these weird schemes like fiber optic swaps, where companies would just trade capacity with each other to make the revenue look huge on paper. Fast forward to today, and we've got something called circular investments. Think of it like this. NVIDIA gives OpenAI a bunch of money, and then OpenAI turns around and uses that exact same money to buy chips from NVIDIA. The money just goes in a circle, and poof, it looks like real revenue. It's kind of like a magic trick.
And here's another classic trick from the 2000s playbook, vendor financing. It's pretty wild. Imagine a huge company, let's say Lucent, loans a smaller customer a ton of cash. What does the customer do? They use that exact loan to buy stuff from Lucent. So on the books, Lucent looks like it just made a massive sale. But in reality, no new money ever came into the system. It was just them paying themselves. A total illusion.
So what does this look like today? Well, we've got a few new flavors of these financial games. There's the cloud money go-round. Big tech invests in an AI startup, and guess what? That startup immediately pays it back for cloud services. Then you've got some, let's call it creative accounting. Meta's a great example. They're saying their AI chips will last for a super long time, which magically makes their yearly costs look smaller and their profits look bigger. And to top it off, some companies are hiding the astronomical costs of AI by stuffing those expenses into separate little companies so investors don't see the real price tag. It's just a modern-day shell game. And to really get a sense of the scale here, just follow the money. We're talking about projections that by 2027, the world will be spending $500 billion a year just on AI infrastructure. That's the chips, the data centers, the whole shebang. $500 billion annually.
Okay, so keep that number, $500 billion, in your head. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. What's the actual revenue? How much money are all these AI services in the US actually bringing in right now? $12 billion.
Just look at that comparison. It's not even close, right? You've got an absolute ocean of money being invested, and it's all chasing this tiny little puddle of actual revenue. For anyone worried about a bubble, this right here, this is Exhibit A. This huge gap between spending and earning is the biggest red flag you could possibly wave.
And if you want to see what this frenzy looks like in the real world, check this out. There's a startup that literally has no product. They won't even say what they're working on, and they just raised $2 billion. $2 billion. Why? Because it was started by someone who used to work at OpenAI. That's it. People aren't investing in a business plan, they're investing in a resume. It's all hype.
Okay, so that's a pretty scary picture, right? The case for a bubble seems pretty strong, but hold on, there's a whole other side to this. A lot of very smart people are arguing that no, this isn't a repeat of 2000. They're saying this time, it's actually different.
So the optimists will tell you that comparing today to the dot-com era is like comparing apples and oranges. Back then, it was all about tiny startups with zero profits, basically running on fumes and credit card debt. Today, the AI race is being funded by the biggest, most profitable companies on the planet. We're talking about the big 7 tech giants, and they're using their own mountains of cash, not just debt and hype. This isn't some fragile house of cards. It's an arms race between titans. And yeah, the stock prices are high, but they're still only about half of the insane levels we saw at the peak of the dot-com madness. The argument is, the foundation is just way, way stronger this time.
And this quote from Mark Zuckerberg just nails the mindset perfectly. He's basically saying, look, I'd rather be wrong and waste hundreds of billions than be the guy who misses the AI boat entirely. For these companies, this isn't just about next quarter's profits. It's about survival. The biggest fear isn't losing money, it's becoming obsolete. It's a high-stakes poker game. and the price to even sit at the table is astronomical. But the cost of not playing at all, that could be everything.
All right, so we've got two very different, very compelling stories here. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute. What if the pessimists are right? Let's just assume we are in a bubble. The question then becomes not if it's going to pop, but how. Let's walk through 3 ways this could all go sideways.
I mean, history is pretty clear on this. Think about it. The railroad, the internet, pretty much every huge technological leap has been paired with a crazy financial bubble that, eventually popped. It's a pattern that repeats over and over. So if history is any guide, how could this one end?
Okay, scenario number 1. Let's call this the domino effect. This is where the whole thing collapses from the inside out.
Think about who the major players are. It's a really small, tight-knit group, right? You've got NVIDIA, Microsoft, OpenAI. They're all investing in each other, buying from each other, selling to each other. It's this super interconnected web. Now, what happens if one of those giants stumbles? Just one. It could set off a catastrophic chain reaction, pulling everyone else down with it. It's eerily similar to how one bank's failure in 2008 sent shockwaves through the entire global economy.
All right, scenario number 2 is what we'll call the external shock. This isn't about the system collapsing on itself. It's about something from the outside coming in and blowing it all up.
So, picture this. A rogue AI goes haywire and causes some kind of huge national security crisis. The public freaks out, governments panic. And what do? They slam on the emergency brakes. A total worldwide ban on AI development until they can get a handle on it. And just like that, all those hundreds of billions of dollars poured into data centers and chips, they could become completely worthless, literally overnight.
And the third scenario, well, this one might be the most ironic of all. The thing that bursts the bubble isn't a failure, it's a breakthrough, an even bigger success.
Believe it or not, this has happened before. During the dot-com boom, a new invention made fiber optic cables way more efficient, which instantly made billions of dollars of newly installed cables totally obsolete. So what's today's version of that? Imagine some small lab announces a quantum computing breakthrough or a totally new kind of chip design, something that's 1,000 times more powerful and a fraction of the cost of what we have now. All of a sudden, the trillions, with a T, of dollars invested in today's data centers are basically junk. The whole market built on that old tech would just implode.
So there you have it. We've gone through the case for a bubble, the counter-argument for why this time is different, and we've even explored a few ways this whole thing could, come crashing down.
And at the end of the day, this is the fundamental tension, isn't it? History tells us that these two things, huge technological revolutions and massive financial bubbles, are like two sides of the same coin. The innovation is absolutely real, but the price tag? That can get completely disconnected from reality.
So, let's be clear. The AI revolution is happening. It is real, and it is changing everything. But the billion or maybe trillion-dollar question is the price tag sustainable? After hearing all this, what do you think? Are you on team optimist, believing this is just the beginning? Or are you on team pessimist, waiting for the other shoe to drop?